Introduction. Singapore is often described as ultra-safe and hyper-connected, but also pricey. The city-state's strict laws and efficient governance mean crime rates are among the world's lowest, and it boasts world-class infrastructure, airport, MRT, broadband. However, these benefits come with a high personal cost. Every aspect of living, housing, education, healthcare, even everyday essentials, is expensive by regional standards. This guide dives into the data-driven realities of expat life in Singapore. Rental markets by area, typical budgets, single and family, costs for schools and childcare, the visa PR process, healthcare quality, tax rates, climate, including haze, transit and airport connectivity, and finally the deal breakers, sky-high housing and schooling costs, rigid regulations, and a challenging path to permanent residency. Where relevant, we contrast Singapore's trade-offs with Kuala Lumpur and Hong Kong to help you weigh your options. Rental market by neighborhood. Housing is Singapore's biggest expense. Most foreigners rent private condominiums. HDB flat rentals are very limited or unavailable to non-citizens. Rents vary dramatically by location. In the city center, downtown core Orchard, even a one-bedroom condo often rents for $3,000 to $5,500 per month. For example, listings show Orchard River Valley 1BR units as $3,800 to $5,500 m. In the CBD neighborhoods like Telok Ayer, full apartments average nearly $4,700 per month. Living downtown trades cost for convenience. Telok Ayer's $4,700 average is more than twice the island median rent. In contrast, suburban areas can be more affordable. On the east side, Katong, Marine Parade, studios and 1BRs average $1,800 to $2,000. In the north, Ang Mo Kio, Serangoon, and west, Clementi, Jurong, typical rents drop to around $1,600 to $1,800. A two-bedroom condo in Jurong or Clementi might rent for $3,500 to $5,000. Data from April 2026 shows the north, Ang Mo Kio, Yio Chu Kang, averages $1,559 across unit sizes, while Balestier and Botanic Gardens near central Novena average $1,595 to $1,750. In short, moving one MRT stop away or choosing a less trendy estate can cut rent by a few $100s per month. Key insight: location is the single biggest factor in what you'll pay. Cove Singapore. Central districts, Orchard, CBD, and nearby command the highest rents, mass $4,000 plus for a 1BR. Whereas HDB towns and suburban neighborhoods are roughly 30 to 50% cheaper on the same unit type. Lease terms also matter. Landlords prefer 2-year tenants and may discount long leases by 3 to 5%. Monthly budgets, single versus family. Budget consultants note a single expat in Singapore needs roughly $4,000 to $5,500 per month just to live comfortably, excluding luxury spending. This includes mid-range rent, a 1BR condo around $2,800 to $3,800, utilities, groceries, transport, dining, and basic entertainment. A worked example breakdown shows about $2,800 to $3,800 for 1BR rent, $500 to $700 groceries, $100 to $150 for MRT cards, and $400 to $600 eating out per month. For a family of 4, costs soar. Rumavi estimates $12,000 to $18,000 a month for a family with 1 child in international school. This assumes a 3BR condo rent of nearly $5,500 to $8,000, double or triple the singles rent line. Other household costs: food around $1,000 to $1,500, utilities $250 to $400, scale up modestly. But schooling is the kicker. 1 child at an international school adds nearly $2,000 to $4,200 per month, annual tuition $14K to $30K plus. Health insurance might be $600 to $1,000 for a family. These figures exclude any school levies or hefty upfront term payments. Up to a year's tuition is often required on enrollment. In practice, many advisors now cite $12 to $18K as the realistic monthly cost for a family of 4, versus the underestimation of $8 to $10K seen in older guides. Budget tip: Singaporeans and expats alike often commute further to save rent. Data shows leaving the central core for the next neighborhood can cut $200 to $300 monthly, e.g. Balestier versus Novena. Also, avoid newcomer peaks, May to Aug, when expat demand spikes rent. Family costs, schools, and childcare. For families, education and childcare add significant premiums. Public schooling in Singapore is top tier, but only for citizens PRs. Almost all expat families send children to international schools, which are extremely costly. Tuition often runs $20,000 to $45,000 per year, US $14K to $32K, depending on grade. The island's eminent schools, Tanglan Trust, UWCSEA, Singapore American School, etc., charge at the high end, over $40K for secondary. Even newer or smaller schools start around S15K to $25K a year. Additionally, most international schools require a one-time building levy or development fee, $3,000 to $10,000 on top of tuition. Budgeting must account for these. E.g., an ESF or independent school often bills around $30K per year, payable quarterly. Childcare costs for preschool age are also high. Government-subsidized centers charge a capped $415 a month, but expats may not get spots there. Private daycares typically cost $800 to $1,500 monthly for full-time care, and high-end or international preschools can be at around $2,500 to $3,000 a month. Many expat families hire a live-in nanny, which including levy, insurance, room board, averages $900 to $1,400 a month. In short, childcare and schooling can easily double or triple a family's budget line. Work visas and residency, employment pass and PR. Long-term stay is tightly controlled. Singapore has no casual long-stay visas. The primary route for foreigners is the employment pass, EP, requiring a local employer sponsor. Since September 2023, EPs must clear a points-based compass assessment based on salary, qualifications, industry, diversity, etc. Minimum salaries are already high, $5,600 a month, $6,200 in finance for new EP applicants. There's no digital nomad or retiree visa, and tourist visas max 30 to 90 days, depending on nationality. Getting permanent residency, PR, is also challenging. Only about 30% of applications succeed. Some reports say mid-teens acceptance rates in recent years. Unlike many countries, Singapore does not openly publish PR quotas, but statistics show around 30 to 34K approvals per year. Given tens of thousands of annual applicants, that implies roughly 1 in 3 succeed. Approval favors those with strong jobs, contributions, record of local taxes, and sometimes family ties like a spouse who is citizen. PR has its own trade-offs. PR holders must make CPF contributions, government pensions, at nearly 20% of salary from day one, rising to 37% total by year 3. Young sons of PRs are subject to Singapore's national service. Over time, many expats find the process opaque and the commitment heavy. SGPR is world-class difficult to obtain, notes a relocation columnist. For most foreigners, therefore, living in Singapore means renewing work passes every 1 to 3 years. Losing one's job cancels the EP, with little grace period, roughly 30 days. This rigidity, no buffer visa and no standalone independent work visa, is a deal-breaker for anyone wanting fluid relocation. Healthcare and insurance. Singapore boasts excellent healthcare, consistently ranking among Asia's best. Its hospitals, e.g. Singapore General, NUH, Changi General, are highly accredited, and life expectancy is among the world's highest, 83.5 years. In practice, Singapore's system is often called world-class, advanced tech, clean facilities, and relatively good insurance systems. Public hospitals render subsidized care for citizens' PRs, resulting in high service quality. However, expats are not covered by these subsidies. Foreigners must rely on private insurance or employer plans. By law, companies must purchase group health insurance meeting minimum criteria, $60,000 annual limit, 75-25 copay splits above $15K. Many employers do more, but serious gaps remain. Private insurance premiums in Singapore are among the highest in Asia. For example, the average international expat health plan cost is about SGD 8,800 per year. Today, US $6,855. For families, multiple policies are needed. In summary, medical quality is high, but access for expats means paying international rates or hefty employer-sponsored premiums. Many expats supplement employer coverage or buy individual policies to cover gaps, dental, outpatient specialist visits, etc. On the upside, Singapore's personal income tax is low. Singapore's tax system is progressive with modest top rates. For tax residents, rates start at 0% and only reach 22% for taxable income above $320,000. Only over $1 million does it hit 24%, and rebates often reduce it further. Non-residents' employment income is effectively capped at 15 to 22%. By contrast, Malaysia's resident tax tops out around 30%, and Hong Kong's earnings tax is a flat 15%. Singapore has no social security tax for expats, and no capital gains or inheritance taxes. There are other fiscal costs. Foreigners pay a 60% additional buyer's stamp duty on property purchases. PRs pay 5%, making homeownership expensive. Most expats rent. One monthly rent deposit per year of tenancy is standard, plus agent fees and stamp duties on leases. Overall, though, Singapore's tax code is pro-income, a major benefit compared to regional peers. Singapore is hot and humid year-round. Temperatures typically range from about 25 degrees Celsius, 77 Fahrenheit at night, to mid-30s Celsius, mid-90s Fahrenheit by afternoon. There is no seasonal winter. Humidity is often 80 to 90%. Two monsoon seasons, November northeast, Jinsep southwest, bring heavy tropical downpours, but daily showers are common year-round. In bad seasons, humidity plus heat index can make outdoor walking quite uncomfortable. A notable environmental challenge is the occasional transboundary haze. In dry years, smoke from Indonesian peatland fires can drift over Singapore, degrading air quality. For example, in October 2023, Singapore's PSI, Pollutant Standards Index, hit the unhealthy range after a spike in regional hotspots. Think tanks warn that climate patterns, El Niño, positive Indian Ocean dipole, makes severe haze episodes more likely in coming years. While the government provides daily haze advisories during events, the pollution is a periodic downside that residents tolerate. Some expats joke that a good pair of N95 masks is part of the wardrobe in haze season. Singapore's compact cityscape is easy to navigate without a car. Its MRT subway and light rail (LRT) span the island with over 160 stations on 6 lines, carrying anchor 3 million rides per day. The network covers most residential and commercial areas, and the goal is most households are within a short walk, a few hundred meters of a bus stop or train station. Frequent buses fill the gaps. Singapore's public transit mode share is very high. Downtown Singapore is quite walkable. Wide sidewalks, clean streets, and air-conditioned malls connected by sheltered underpasses. However, the tropical climate can make long strolls taxing. Many residents opt for occasional drive-hailing or motorbike taxis, Grab, Gojek, during midday heat. Cycling is becoming more common with a growing network of park connectors, but biking on roads is still less usual than in Western cities. In practice, most daily errands can be done on foot or quick transit rides in central areas. Car ownership is rare among expats. A Singapore car license, COE, now costs on the order of $100,000 plus, and public transit is so reliable that few newcomers find a private vehicle necessary. As Singapore's motto implies, it is hyper-connected globally. Changi Airport, SIN, is one of the world's busiest and most celebrated hubs. By 2024, around 100 airlines serve Changi, with about 7,400 weekly flights to 163 cities in 49 countries. In total, over 67 million passengers flew through Changi in 2024, nearly back to pre-pandemic volumes. Direct routes cover all continents. For example, Europe is about 13 hours via SIN, Sydney about 8 hours, and North America, often via Tokyo Seoul, is feasible in about 18 hours total. The airport's legendary amenities, gardens, free movies, butterfly garden, SkyTrain lounges, mean layovers are not so bad either. Changi regularly tops global best airport polls. Within Asia, Singapore's location means you can reach a vast region. Kuala Lumpur or Bangkok are only about an hour distant, Hong Kong about 4 hours, Tokyo 6 hours, Delhi 5 hours. Weekly flights to numerous Chinese cities, Australia, the Middle East and beyond make it a true hub. For frequent flyers and business travelers, this connectivity is a major plus that Kuala Lumpur, KLIA hub, fewer top-tier operators, or even Hong Kong, immune to Chinese scheduling quirks, find hard to match on breadth or quality of service. Deal breakers, costs and constraints versus KLHK. No place is perfect. In Singapore, the deal breakers center on cost and rigidity. Housing costs are prohibitive. A condo you might get for S1,000 in Malaysia or 3,000 in Thailand will easily be double or triple that here. Even smaller rooms or shared flats run $1,200 to $2,500, and families need large 3-bedroom condos scoring $6,000 plus. International school fees compound this. Expect hundreds of thousands per year versus a few tens of thousands in Malaysia. Singapore taxes foreign property purchases heavily. 60% stamp duty, making eventual homeownership nearly impossible for non-PRs. The strict laws and social rules can also be jarring. Singapore enforces fine-heavy bans, no chewing gum sales, severe littering, e-cigarette penalties, which help keep the city clean and safe, but feel austere to newcomers. Surveillance cameras are ubiquitous. This policing yields safety. Crime is very low, but also less personal spontaneity. Moreover, permanent residency is hard to win. Unlike Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, my second home, or easier PR for skilled veterans, or Hong Kong. After 7 years residence, one may apply. In short, if you crave flexibility, freedom, and low cost, Singapore might chafe. Compared to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore offers far better public services and high English proficiency, but KL is much cheaper. Rents in KL are often less than half of Singapore's for comparable apartments, and international school fees are lower, though it has fewer top-tier schools. KL's personal taxes can be slightly higher, top about 30% versus Singapore's 22%, but its expat community and lifestyle perks, like a strong summer shopping scene, local wage arbitrages, can offset that. On safety, Singapore is rock solid, whereas KL has noticeably higher street crime rates. Versus Hong Kong, taxes and politics differ. HK's salaries tax caps at 15%, and PR, right of abode, is granted more automatically after 7 years of residence, easier than Singapore's system. Costs in Hong Kong are similarly high for housing, even worse per square meter, and schooling, though expats often enjoy a large international network of schools there. Both HK and SG have tight civil liberties relative to Kuala Lumpur. A comparison often boils down to language and culture comfort. International businesses and institutions are prevalent in all three, but Singapore is majority English-speaking, unlike KL's Malay-Chinese mix or HK's Cantonese English. Bottom line, Singapore rewards those with high income and a desire for first-world order. Its advantages are undeniable: safety, cleanliness, connectivity, healthcare, low taxes. But the price is far above its neighbors. Always compare. Often, families might opt for Kuala Lumpur to enjoy a lower cost base and warm ties to Singapore on a short flight. Or consider Hong Kong for a similar financial hub environment without tropical weather, though Hong Kong's political changes are a factor. Each city has unique trade-offs. Singapore's appeal hinges on whether its exceptional stability and infrastructure justify the premium in your specific relocation plans. Conclusion: Singapore delivers an enviable blend of safety, cleanliness, and connectivity. It truly feels like a small country operating at the efficiency of a major first-world city. However, those perks come at a premium. Rent and education costs can strain even generous budgets, and foreigners face tight visa and residency rules. For a high-earning professional or executive whose priority is security and convenience, Singapore often is worth it. But anyone seeking a low-cost lifestyle or mobility should think carefully. Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, or other Asian cities might offer a more affordable, if less pristine alternative. Weigh the data. Singapore's gated stability is attractive, but its gate is expensive and not easily opened. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at movingabroad.life. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Moving Abroad Life. If this episode helped you get closer to your next move, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new deep dive. For the full written breakdown, comparison data, and relocation resources, open your browser and type movingabroad.life right into your address bar. That's movingabroad.life. 2 words, movingabroad.life. New research drops multiple times a week.